Howdy, everybody, and happy Friday once again. Welcome to April, we say. That kind of happened quick. Here's what we got this week. This is a good one, and it's a fun one, too. Kiss the fire and walk away whistling. So let me tell you about a couple of years that I spent at the Chateau Marmot in the early 90s. Making a lot of money off of rom-coms, I wanted to spend a couple of irresponsible Jim Morrison years in my life. I bought a pair of leather pants, a motorcycle, and wrote a $120,000 check upon arrival to give myself an open tab, no lid, no curfew. Now at the Chateau, you see, it was always Saturday, easy street, and I was on it, once again having committed to my man. Now, eager to dance with my devils instead of fight them, I was keen to negotiate the abyss, broker a deal with lack of restraint, and see if I could come out the other side unscathed. Now my days of it'd be rude not to, and I don't have to, so I will, led to many a morning of I don't knows and hey, let's not remembers. You know how it is. When you're up to no good, actually when you're up to nothing, no good's usually next. Single, healthy, honest, and eligible, I enjoyed the transience of a high-class hotel that promoted mischief. Transactions, flings, affairs, renting to rent, not to own. I wore the leathers, I rode the Thunderbird. I took a lot of showers in the daylight hours, rarely alone. I partook. I embraced the fun, my fame, and the curfew-less hours. When I wasn't working, I'd read scripts tanning by the pool, write poetry, have a friend over for lunch, take Miss Hud, my dog, for a walk, go for a run, then get ready to saunter into the Hollywood lights. Localizing and customizing once again, I also had a key to the hotel's kitchen, which I conveniently used to find and cook 3 a.m. steaks. Kiss the fire and walk away whistling. But when I chose this lifestyle, here's the point. I knew it was just a stop, not a stay. I knew I was renting the time. I wasn't living a life I wanted to own. I wasn't thinking that this was going to be for me for the rest of my life. I knew there was an expiration date. There are times to rent, and there are times to own. There is also a science to choices. A plus B equals C. Well, C equals consequences. And there are consequences, good and bad, with every choice we make. Now, I'm not quite sure why consequences, the word consequences, has become a fait-accompli bad word in our society. We tell our kids there are going to be consequences, and they never go, yay, can't wait. But let's admit it. When we make good choices, we usually receive good consequences. Consequences are simply outcomes, results, the product of our choices, joyful and painful, good and bad. Now, always making puritanical sacrifices today for a greater reward tomorrow can get laborious and sound like a party-pooping proposition. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we can't have our cake. What I'm saying is, let's figure out how to have our cake and eat it too. How to be irresponsible without creating structural damage. How to get up to a little mischief without harming someone or ending up in jail. How to get off balance without splitting our differential. How to say, yes, I'll have another, one more please, and not need to go to rehab tomorrow. We can all get better at measuring the consequences of the choices we make. For instance, don't go to Vegas trying to spend your life savings. Don't go to Vegas with your life savings. If you've got $100,000 to your name, say that is your life savings. Don't take all of it to Vegas. I don't know, go with $5,000. Or if you really want to go for it, take just enough so that if you lose, and you just might, Monday morning on the way home is just a hickey instead of a broken neck. Just don't give yourself the option to come home completely broke if you lose. Instead, give yourself the option to lose your ass and still say, Damn, that was a hell of a good time.